Justin, Nicole, here you go.
We'll call the meeting to order of the Franklin Town Council, a special call meeting for today, August 18th at 9 a.m. And we have two items on the agenda for today's meeting. And before I get started, I'd like to say welcome back, Mr. Culpepper.
Thank you.
We've missed you last time. We went ahead and voted for you just in case you have any questions. Check with Mr. Collins. Thank you. It's good to have you back. I'm sure you enjoyed some time with your family. First thing we have on the agenda is to talk about our planning board. At last meeting, we had some discussion about the membership of the planning board, and there was some question about membership, and we had the board made a couple of recommendations for appointments to the planning board, and those recommendations for anyone representing the extraterritorial jurisdiction by state law has to be approved by the Board of County Commissioners. Unfortunately, the Board of County Commissioners chose to select someone other than one of the persons that we recommended be appointed. And so after some research, our town attorney, Mr. Henning, has done some research and exploration and researched our ordinance and also the state law, as well as talking to folks at the School of Government, Chapel Hill, about the organization and membership of our planning board. And you have with you in your agenda packet the information that Mr. Henning has been able to put together. It appears, if I can maybe oversimplify this, that the town board has the authority to appoint someone to the town's planning board representing a town position without having to go through the secondary process of having it approved by the Board of County Commissioners. The fact of the matter is we do have one position open on the planning board right now, an alternate position for the town. Now, the state law, as Mr. Henning says, does not require a residency of any place inside the corporate limits for someone to serve on the planning board. And so if you have any questions about that, I'm sure that we can call Mr. Henning, or our town manager can answer any questions that you may have concerning this. But we had Ms. Janet Green, who had served on the planning board for quite some time, was currently serving as the chair, and she was representing the extraterritorial jurisdiction. Unfortunately, she was not selected to be reappointed by the Board of County Commissioners, but there is a possibility if the board would like to appoint Ms. Green to the planning board as an alternate on the town side. She can serve. Unfortunately, by what Mr. Henning has said, that the person who's serving as an alternate can participate and be part of the planning board. They cannot vote unless one of the members, the actual regular members, is absent, and then the alternate can vote at that point in time. But the alternate can hold positions and actively participate in the work of the planning board. So that's sort of setting the stage for one of the items on the agenda this morning. And so I'd like to get some input from the members of the board concerning the possibility of the board moving ahead and appointing Ms. Green to the alternate position, serving the town of Franklin on the planning board. So I'll open it up for any observations, discussion, or questions that you may have, and I'll begin with the Vice Mayor, Mr. Guffey.
I'm 100% for this. I'm glad to see that she can also be re-elected to serve as chair if she so wishes and if the board wishes. So I don't have any questions or other comments.
Anyone else? Mr. Culpepper.
I want to point out that I think this mess is somewhat on us, and I want to go back to us deliberating internally that our actions have consequences. And we ran fairly roughshod over ETJ landowners. You know, they don't have representation on this board. They don't pay taxes in town. They don't get to vote. and we have changed material value of their property repeatedly and a lot of times in the negative. And our actions aren't in a vacuum. Like when we make a decision and people feel slighted by that or harmed by it, they're going to seek resolution. And that's what appears has happened here. They've lobbied to have our chosen member of the ETJ on the planning board removed and somebody else put in. I don't know who it is because I'm not familiar with this discussion. I missed last month. But what we do has consequences in real time. Like, every action has a inverse reaction, and that's what's happened here. I'm totally fine with reappointing Janet Green. I mean, I've known her since I was a kid, and I'm friends with her. But keep that in mind when we make decisions where we actually harm people, because zoning is a material fact in property values. And when you zone people's land and you change it, and they lose value because of that, or kids lose inheritance because of that, they don't like that. Like, people aren't gonna be like, oh, well, town made a decision, I have no recourse, but that's okay with me. That's not how people act in real life. Like, they go and they talk to people and they're upset about it and they tell other people about it, and then this kind of stuff comes down the pipe, and then we're gonna react to it, and then somebody else reacts to it, and it ends up in an arms race. I guess what I'm trying to say is we need to carefully deliberate our decisions and think about people and how our decisions affect them, especially people that have no representation on this board.
Well,
Thank you. I appreciate the lecture to the board about what we do and how it harms everybody. I have a couple of points, though. Number one, that is not what precipitated this appointment.
Okay, fair enough.
We do know the backstory. We know who it is, and one of the issues we have is it's someone who has a history with the town of Franklin and has some cease and desist letters pertaining to his actions related to our staff. Number two, these harmful actions, I would just ask, I remember when we did the rezoning, where were those people?
A lot of them came. The people who did come, we didn't. We
And
conformed to
did our
them.
staff not spend the time to work with each one of those?
Not
people
each landowner, no. We didn't address
I think
each
this
parcel
town does a
individually.
good job. I think we did a good job of listening to everybody who came who had a concern. Everybody who spoke out.
And I think this is residual from that. So, I mean, you may be right. We may have done a good job. Maybe we didn't do a good enough job. Maybe we should have went parcel by parcel and discussed it. Maybe the planning board should have. I don't know, but what I'm telling you is this type of stuff doesn't come out of thin air. Like, there's reasons why actions like this happen. And you may say it's not related to that. I would disagree.
I think one of the problems that I think we had with this whole process is the fact that, unaware by the town board, the county changed their appointment process, but they didn't bother to inform the board, the town board, that they changed their process. And on top of that, there was no communication that the county had any problems with the person who had been serving on the ETJ for quite some time, had risen to the position of chairman, and as far as I know, has a long history of public service, both on the planning board, the Board of Commissioners, and the school board, as well as other civic activities. And we really have not received any reasonable explanation on why that recommendation was not approved by the Board of County Commissioners. So I think the communications is a problem between our two boards, and we had hoped that getting together with our council of governments from time to time would improve communication so that we can all work toward what we need to be doing is serving the people that we are elected by and represent, as far as what's in the best interest of everyone concerned. I hope that this is a lesson that the Board of County Commissioners has been able to learn, that communication is a first step toward getting along with your counterparts, and we hope that this doesn't happen again. Fortunately, we have a way to somewhat correct this situation and not lose a valuable member of our planning board. but I think the emphasis ought to be placed on open and honest communication with our counterparts on the county level so that we don't run into this type of situation before. If there wasn't a problem with any appointment that the town has recommended, we would appreciate knowing ahead of time before our final action is taken by the appointing authority. Anyone else have any questions? Mr. Pompa?
I'm a little leery with that this is a lesson for the county commissioners. For this one, I have talked to multiple for our board and their board. There was, I believe on both ends, there's a lack of communication. There was no phone call either direction. That's what I received as kind of the main source of issue. One party wasn't informed about an individual's past well enough. Maybe they didn't ask enough questions, but also the other board in a way doesn't have to, if they change who they picked. I don't know, I felt like that was maybe it's a courtesy to call us, but I don't know if it was a requirement from what I've just open conversation there. With this topic specifically, for me, is there, I just worry about repercussions down the line. With there was an appointment and decision made.
I don't think there'd be any. They got their person. We're just putting another one on there.
Yeah. We're also circumventing that they made a choice to specifically get this person off. And now we're finding a loophole with how she can still be I'm not disagreeing, she is well qualified. But also we're finding a loophole to now get the person that they specifically wanted off to get her on and still remain in the same role. I'm just leery of what that looks like when working together.
Just to clarify, I did talk to Commissioner as well, and I was not given a reason why they failed to appoint the town's recommendation. I did understand from the commissioner I talked to that he was unaware of some of the issues that the member that they appointed had with the town in the past, and the fact that the town attorney had written 3 cease and desist letters to this particular individual, and it made me kind of feel like this appointment was not made in order to further the goals and the work of the planning board, but to act in some way that may not be in the best interest of the town. So I think that communication is critically important. I think if you're going to appoint somebody to a board or committee or commission, then it's incumbent on the appointing authority to do their research to find out if there are any issues concerning that proposed individual that might cause a problem with the organization that they're being appointed to. I think that the individuals that were recommended by the town had been thoroughly vetted, and I think that the board was well aware of the qualifications of the 2 reappointments that we recommended, and didn't have any reason not to recommend those 2 individuals who had been serving on the planning board. So I think Mr. Tomka has a good point that we probably can do a better job on both sides with these appointments that require both boards' affirmation, and I think we'll learn from this and hopefully not have to go through this particular situation in the future. Ms. Swain.
I agree with David that the work of the planning board and then our town council and zoning is one of the most significant things that we do. And for that reason, I feel strongly that the person who has served for such a long time and has so much background and history can help us continue to make the best decisions that we can make. I don't agree that it, is a slap in the face to the county commissioners, because what we're doing is what we are supposed to do, which is to add somebody that, as an alternate. And we've got a lot of research that this is perfectly an acceptable alternate. So and the work that you've done, Robbie, with Justin to try to get more comments before, going right to the planning board before it comes here is going to help us as well. But I think that as much experience as we can have on the planning board, and as deep as that experience can be, is in that all of the citizens of Franklin and the ETJ, it's in their best interest.
Anyone else have any comments or observations?
I'll just say that this board's been over backwards multiple times to accommodate people that express concern to their property value or any other that they've had, and matter of fact, this board has went against the planning board's recommendations multiple times since I've sat on this board. Yeah. So I wouldn't just patently say that we just blindly ruin people's, and honestly, I'd like to see some specific instances where we've done that.
Okay. Well, what's the board's pleasure concerning the appointment to an alternate position on the town's planning board?
I make that motion.
Mr. Guffey makes a motion to appoint or to create. We currently have an open position as a alternate.
I make the motion to appoint Janet Green to the planning board, Board of Adjustment, as the town's alternate seat appointment.
Thank you, Mr. Guffey. Is there a second to Mr. Guffey's? Ms. Lane, thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of the motion. Well, before we vote on that, we'll ask, has anyone had a chance to speak to Ms. Green to see if she is indeed willing to accept that position if the board votes to do that? She is. She's aware of it. Okay. All right. If there are no other questions, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed by like sign. Motion carries. Ms. Owen, Mr. Setzer, will you please notify Ms. Green of her appointment? And I think there's a planning board meeting later today. Hopefully she'll be able to participate in that if all the paperwork is finished in time. Okay. Next item we have is discussion of acquisition of real property by purchase, option, exchange, or lease. In order to do that, we need to go into closed session under North Carolina General Statute 143-318-11A5. Is there a motion to go in closed session for that purpose?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second to go into closed session. Any discussion?
Mr. Mayor, could we move upstairs so these folks don't have to move?
Yeah, we can go upstairs. There's another little room upstairs we can use, and you all won't have to move then. So that's fine. We can do that. Okay, we haven't voted yet, so all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Opposed by like sign, that motion carries. We'll be in closed session. I can't tell you how long it'll be. All right, the board's out of closed session, and we have a resolution for the town of Franklin concerning the purchase of certain real property, and I will defer to our town manager to give us a brief summary, and then the board can take action concerning this resolution in open session.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What you have in front of you is the purchase for the Old Angel Medical Center property for a total of $910,000. What this resolution does is direct myself, the town attorney, and the finance director to move forward with working on this agreement. You will get further updates on this as the agreement is signed and approved. But what we need is the resolution for us to be able to move forward in looking at that agreement.
Everyone has a copy of the resolution. Is there a motion from one of the board members concerning approval of the resolution as presented?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion?
Only that this is an authorization to move forward. We're not approving the contract yet. This is authorization to pursue a contract.
Yeah, thanks for that clarification, Mr. Lewis. Anyone else? If not, all those in favor of approving the resolution, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed, by like sign. That motion carries. The resolution is approved. Our attorney and our manager are authorized to proceed on that path based on more work to be done before anything is finalized.
And I will need you to approve the budget amendment allowing us to move the funds from the general fund balance to a capital outlay land purchase.
For $910,000. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Tompkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion, please signify by raising your hand. Any opposed, by like sign. That motion carries. Is there any more business to come before the board at this time? Hearing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by raising your hand. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you all for being here.